Hey guys, Captain here. Today I'm bringing you another one of my LEGO Techniques videos. I've talked at least once about walls before. I've definitely talked about rounded walls. I've talked about some nice details you can add to walls on the side of a house. Today I'm going to talk about nice ways to texture walls. Now the simplest way is if you have these actual masonry brick pieces, and then it's very straightforward. The one thing I don't like about them though is actually if you want the best texturing, you want to line them all up straight on top of each other. You don't want to build them the, I guess, kind of standard interlocking way that makes for really sturdy walls, because then it actually kind of messes up the texture and stacks it in what I think is sort of an ugly way. I think it's much nicer this way. And so some ways, this is alright, but again, you're really sacrificing stability here when you do this. That's okay, because some other really nice ways are, varying degrees of stable. Some are very stable, some are not so much. But today I'm going to show off kind of 2.5 other ways that give you some really nice texturing options for reasonable stability. And the best part is they, not as simple as just using masonry brick pieces, but they use only 2, in one case I think 3 or so types of pieces, but basically very few, very common pieces. So 2 of these I picked up from someone called Simon NH on Flickr, and the first one I'm going to show off can be adapted to 2x2s as well, but here I've got a bunch of 1x2s. All you need are jumper plates and 1x2 plates. And in fact, all 3 of the techniques I'm about to show off today are based off the fact that most jumper plates you find do not have perfectly smooth sides. Hopefully the camera will focus here. But they actually have a very small ridge. Oh yeah, you can see it now. They have a very small ridge, and so we're going to use this for our texturing here. So one very simple technique you can employ is to just take jumper plates and stick regular plates on top of them. Again, this works with the 2x2 versions as well. You'll have a little more stability that way. And just do this a couple of times. I think I have 9 here or something like that, so I'm going to quickly stack them all up. And basically we're building like little bricks out of this, and I'll show you how we're going to stack them on top of each other to texture things real nicely. So what you do, now that I've got my last one built, just adjust it so they're nice and angled the same way. You interlock these little bricks just like you would, regular 1x2 bricks. And especially if, you really adjusted them smoothly, then you won't really see the line between the 1x2 jumper plate and the 1x2 plate. And so what pops instead is the ridge from the jumper plate, and you see a little bit more so the line in between the kind of mini bricks that we've built. And so this is a really nice way to build small stone walls. And in fact, you could, if you wanted, use smooth tiles on top here for a nice texture on top, or even dark gray or something like that. But this is a really simple way to build walls that are quite stable out of just 2 different pieces, and maybe get a little different texturing than you would just out of 1x2 bricks. So the next technique I'm going to show off, this one also is from Simon NH, and the final one I'll show you is a bit of an adaptation on that I came up with. So first what you'll do, basically we're going to again abuse the jumper plate ridge to create some texturing here. So I kind of made my bricks 4 studs, like we're turning these sideways, so I'm using 4 studs of height as really the width of these bricks. So what you'll do, you'll make a couple columns. Here I'm making this 6 tall, so you'll make 3 columns that are just jumper plate and then brick, and then jumper plate and then brick, and then jumper plate and then brick. So I'll show you stacking this up. We'll go jumper plate and brick, and then finally one more jumper plate and brick. And now the other one will offset it by 2 studs worth of height. So we'll start with 2 1x2 plates, and then a jumper plate, and then a brick, and then a jumper plate and a brick, and one more jumper plate, a brick, and this time a jumper plate and one more 1x2 plate. Again, remember that 3 plates are the same height as 1 brick. And so you'll build both of these 3 times, and then we'll take some, in this case I have 1x6 plates, and we'll just alternate them here. So we'll get a really nice brick texture, as you'll see, forming. Alright, one of these, one of these, one of these. And then if you want to make this next modification I'm going to show you, if you use 5 height bricks, then you don't have to make any adjustments. I'll have to make a small adjustment. But anyway, there you go. So that's a really nicely textured wall. It's not very stable if you actually push in on it, but it certainly holds together just like this. Again, only when you really start pushing does it give you some trouble. And because it's 2 in width, it'll be fine if you kind of press it in with some, what you'll want to do is kind of use snot techniques to hold this down somehow or other. And again, you can toy around with that in different ways. But like I said, the easiest way is going to be to get some modified bricks or headlights or something on the sides here, and then hold it down firmly. And then that'll probably be the best way to apply this technique. And now one thing you can do that I came up with is I'm going to pull this apart a little bit. I'm going to pull it apart in a very specific way. As you can see, because the jumper plate rests in the brick with not the stablest connection, that's why this is kind of loose when you're taking it apart. And let's see, I'm going to pull off one more of these here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap all these out, this jumper and brick, which is 4 studs of height, for something that's 5 studs of height. And in this last one, I'm going to have to just add one more plate to the bottom to make its height right. So what we'll do is we'll take these, and in fact I'm going to discard 2 of them completely. I'm going to take a couple of plates, just stick them on the other side here to adjust the height properly. And as you might recall from one of my previous techniques videos, 5 plates worth of height is actually the same as 2 plates or 2 bricks worth of width. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take some plates, some 1x2 plates, and stick a textured, or not a textured, but rather a modified 1x1 gray brick with a stud on one side. I don't really have 1x1 gray bricks as is, so I've got another one with a stud on one side, but this one won't actually be visible. It'll be in the back here. And then on top of that, we're going to place a jumper plate. So from these little pieces that we discarded, we'll pull the jumper plates off, stick them on top, and we'll do this twice actually. And now what we'll do is we'll stick these all back in here. But what we'll do for the modified bricks that we added in, we will actually stick them on top of the jumper plate stud, not centered, but rather with the one of the underside studs of the plate. And what this will allow us to do is we can first hold our wall back together, and 2, we can actually place a plate or a tile inside. You could even use a different color if you wanted. And this adds some really nice fancy texturing. You can make a whole bunch of these bricks if you wanted, toy around with this technique. But as you can see, now we've got some really deep and interesting texturing work going on, which is a lot fancier than simple masonry brick walls like this. Sure, there are times where you'll still want to use very simple masonry brick techniques, but as you can see, this is not really that advanced of a technique actually. It's only a small variant on a technique that was really simple and used only 3 different types of pieces, and this just adds in some tiles and some modified bricks. That's all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new about interesting wall techniques. And if you did, please rate, comment, subscribe, send this video to your friends, check out my other ones, and I will see you guys next time. I also mentioned that I learned some of these wall techniques from a Flickr user. I'll post a link to their account in the description. They've got actually a couple other really interesting wall techniques that either are maybe harder to do or use some rarer pieces, but nonetheless a lot of them that look really nice, really interesting, and have different applications for different builds you might be trying to make.